Welcome to Pisces season. I am so deeply excited to be here today. Honestly, I think since my grandmother's passing, I've been taking every day like a ultimate blessing because we never know when our time is gonna come. Anyways, we're not gonna make this episode depressing. Okay, it is all about joy. So I just wanted to say that I'm excited to be here today. So we're gonna talk about Pisces. The Pisces energy. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it yet? Because we are officially in Pisces season. And today's episode is gonna be a lot. I'm gonna talk about a lot of Kabbalah teachings because I don't know. I really I like adding that perspective to the podcast because I think it adds more spirituality and depth, and because it's fun. So, what is Pisces all about? Today, I really hope that we can make a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? That we can highlight Pisces from a different light because I do sincerely believe that Pisces are one of the most misunderstood sign in the zodiac, and also I do believe that water signs are one of the most misunderstood family in the entire zodiac sign. And I understand that it's because they're the water family, right? The emotions, and this is something that we can't really see, and it's something that most people try to avoid. So air signs, earth signs, fire signs. Okay, fire signs also deals with a lot of emotions, but it's just the way they translate it is very fiery, very passionate, and stuff like that. But like the water signs are a little bit very private, more private when it comes to emotions. So I understand why it is so often the misunderstood, some of the most misunderstood. And I talk a lot when I talk to different astrologers about that. They seem to notice that. So it's not just me noticing that. Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, people that I talk to, like other water sign, people that I talk to, you often hear that they complain a lot about them feeling misunderstood. And the reason why I think this episode is very, very, very important is because Pisces is the last month, it's the last cycle of the zodiac, it's the last sign completing, or I should say, it's the last sign completing the cycle of 12 months. And one thing is that before you go and exit this episode thinking, oh, I'm not a Pisces, this doesn't relate to me. Actually, what I say all the time is that, in all fairness, all of these monthly energy check-in that I do, they relate to pretty much all of us. Because what happens is, yes, some of us are born Pisces, as in your son is in Pisces. You are a Pisces son. However, what you have to understand is that we are a mixture of a lot of the signs. Now, you might not have all 12 signs, but it's not all about your sun. It's about your sun, it's about your moon, it's about your Mercury, it's about your rising sign, it's about your Mars, your Venus. Where are all these planets falling in your chart? By the way, if you don't know about that and you like to discover, you can book a birth chart reading with me or any other astrological services. All the links are down below. But I just want to say, it's very important to know your chart, to know what are your placements, because it explains a lot. But even if you don't have Pisces in your chart, right? Even if you happen not to have any water sign, any water elements at all in your chart, what happens is that every season it's almost like we all become the sign. You do have the OGs, for example, the Pisces, it's their OG, that they're the OGs because it's their month. However, all of us, we're like acting Pisces for the month of Pisces, because what's happening is that it is the and every time we enter a new zodiac sign, it's pretty much the energy that all of us we are basking in for that month. That's why, when we are in Scorpio season, the energy feels different because there's a lot of judgment in the air during Scorpio season. When we are in Sagittarius, the energy is very different. In Capricorn, you might feel like that restlessness, that need to do things. In Aquarius, that the month that just passed, the energy was different. And now we are in Pisces, it is a whole different energy that is pretty much affecting all of us. So the trick is to be aware of what the energy is about. That way, we can elevate above the influence of the month. And at the same time, we can use the positive, because every month brings a different energy, but they're also support. They're like our support, helping us manifest different things, helping us tap into different part of ourselves and giving us extra support for us to, to reach our for us to pretty much do our soul's work, which is pretty much to elevate above our limitations. But the thing is, you need to be aware of that, because this is how you activate the energy, is by having these things into your consciousness. And without further ado, let's start. So what is the energy of Pisces month? Now, Pisces, by the way, which is so amazing for all of us, because the Pisces month in Kabbalah is called the month of Adar, and it's pretty much started this year. It started on the 18th of Feb, and so what that means is that pretty much you starting to, I don't know if you're going to notice that, but there is an extra energy of joy that is available for this month. And there's a reason for that, which we will explain in a minute. Because the thing with Pisces is that Pisces in traditional astrology and in Kabbalistic astrology is actually ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is pretty much the planet of expansion. It's like the go big or go home type of planet, which means that we do have the joy and it's available for you in abundance. What that means is that we all need to tap into that energy of joy. Okay. And Pisces also, if you notice, it's the only sign of the zodiac that pretty much is more than one. Now you might think like, oh, wait a minute, Gemini is the same, but Gemini, not really. Gemini is a twin. It's still singular. They're like a unit system, but Pisces is pretty much, it's the only sign of the zodiac that is having two elements, two Pisces, right? I mean, two fishes, right? Do you say fishes? Or actually, like, excuse that Z? Oh my God, I'm all over the place today. Apologies, I'm still jet lag, right? I just flew in from like a 16-hour flight. I am jet lag like crazy. So bear with me, my loves. I really wanted to talk about that. By the way, those episodes that I do are always inspired by so many things that I'm learning. I'm always learning all the time. Even if you think you know something, then there's always a different angle that you can tackle it. But especially every month we do have a session with one of my mentors, one of my teachers. I absolutely love the way he just like, I love the way he simplifies a lot of complex things. So a lot of my monthly energy check-in are always inspired by what I learn from his class, what I learned from other astrologers that I really like, what I learned from my own research, from new things that I've learned and studied. And yes, so shout out to my coach, my teacher, Mr. Cohen. I absolutely love the way he just simplifies all of these things. I think it's a crime not to share them. Of course, I add my own twist and my own energy to everything, but I just wanted to share that. So yeah, it's actually the reason why I'm saying that, because he's the one who said he brought it to my attention, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I never really thought about that way. Yes, of course, we do notice like two fish. Oh gosh, I need to check that because this is bugging me. Do we say two fishes? This sounds so weird. Also, it's like I can't speak English today. So we do have, yes, it is a thing. All right. I guess I never say fish in plural. It's crazy, because that is the sign of Pisces. But also, why he brought to my attention today is that they're actually a representation of, in Kabbalah, we do have the tree of good and evil, and then we have the tree of life. Technically, to simplify this, the tree of good and evil is pretty much what we are living, what we are experiencing in our physicality world. Because in Kabbalah, they tell us that what we are seeing with our five senses is a very limited version of the true reality. This is only 1% of the true reality. And we cannot see what we don't see is in the spiritual realm, in the metaphysical realm, and that is about 99% of what is actually reality. So the tree of good and bad is the our 1% reality, right? And then we do have the tree of life, which is in the spiritual realm, which represents all of the things that are beyond our, beyond our five senses. So it's actually funny because the two fishes actually represent that, right? It represents our world, the limited world, and also the expensive spiritual world out there that most of us can see with our five senses. And I thought it was an interesting point because it also explains why Pisces are often so mystical. They're associated with, the unseen. If you have any Pisces friends, they're always talking about energy, this, energy, that. Most Pisces I know. And yes, so here we go. It's just the way Pisces are wired. And also, what happens is Pisces being the last 12. So this, by the way, affects all of us this month. Even if, like I said, we are all acting Pisces this month, we're all honorary Pisces. So if you can expect to feel a little bit more connected to the unseen this month, that might be through your intuition, and that might be, you get like different downloads, or you find yourself just feeling this extra connectedness to the spiritual world, or to the light, to the creator, to the unseen, to your intuition. And I think this is one thing that is really beautiful about Pisces, and Pisces being the last zodiac sign of the whole 12 signs. It is pretty much a compilation of everything else. What I mean by that is that it accumulates the energy from all the other signs, which is what can make Pisces so intense. So also Pisces being the last sign, the last window before we start over again in Aries, because the zodiac starts with Aries, which is the first sign, the number one, and which is why Aries is often compared to the child. And that's why you could see the Aries energy is very forward. It's do first, I'll think later. Whereas Pisces energy is the total opposite. It's like very, very, it's a little bit more slow, really more deep, and like it's a lot of introspection. So this is literally because it's the last sign of the zodiac. So it's pretty much, it went through all of the signs to finally make it to Pisces. So what that means is that it is the last cycle, the last sign, the last stop before we start the cycle all over again in Aries. So why I'm saying that, not because I'm trying to throw crazy information at you, but it's because it's also our last chance to pretty much tackle things that we haven't done, or challenges that our soul came here to learn. And it's pretty much because we have to see our soul as the soul is in the school of life, right? The soul didn't come here to eat McDonald's. That was such a weird example. I don't know why I said that. But our soul came here to go through different life experiences so it can grow and learn. So it's almost like the soul has I guess we can see it as the soul has a curriculum for, let's say, for the year. And the same way when we go to school, you in grade 10, you in, university year 1, or like your first university semester, there is a curriculum. Like, you need to go through the curriculum so you can pass the final exam, so you can move on to the next level. So what that means is that Pisces being the last stop before we change grade, before we start over again, before we start a new cycle at Aries. So Pisces is pretty much the last chance that a lot of time, often, you might also experience challenges. But those challenges are not bad, because remember, we come here to go through challenges. We don't like them because let's be honest. But again, I'm always talking about how we need to do our best to rewire our brain and start seeing challenges as maybe fun. I know a lot of us are quite far from that, but we need to see it as part of like, kind of like maybe a Disneyland ride, you know, where, or a Six Flags ride for my American friends, where you do the ride that looks very scary. At some point, it looks like torture, but then at the end of the day, you feel very accomplished after you've gone through the ride. So in a way, that's how challenges are. They are challenging. We'll get through today's episode, but once you get through them, you build endurance stripes and you feel really proud about yourself. And the cool thing about challenges is that we always end up a new version of ourselves, a newer, improved, stronger, more resilient version of ourselves. And the only way we can get this upgrade is by going through those challenges. So Pisces is gonna be, because it's in a way we can see it as the last call. Remember, like I don't know if you, any one of us still goes clubbing, but I'm pretty sure all of us experienced clubbing, at some point. And you remember when you at the club, or and they're saying, the barman is saying last call, shouting last call. This is your last call before the bar closes. So in a way, Pisces is that. It's the last call. So if you find some challenges that are coming your way and you're like, oh my God, you again? I thought we were over. Well, then it would certainly be because you haven't, passed the exam. So it's coming your way again to give you a chance to actually wrap up the exam so that you can move on to the next level. So this is the way how we need to get ready for that. But I don't want us to be paranoid. I'm just saying, just let us be mindful that Pisces is often a last call, our last, but it's not to penalize you. It's because it's all, the universe is literally there for you. Life is happening for you. So it is giving you a loving chance for you to actually, pass, for you to actually get through the challenge so you can evolve before the new cycle. So you don't have to carry that gunk into the new cycle, the new year that starts at Aries. So I think it's really interesting. A new approach for Pisces to help guide you, right, is instead of thinking about what can you do, what, having like being obsessed about to-dos list, my teacher brought the point about thinking about what we need to become throughout the month of Pisces. It sounds so basic, but to me it was so like, interesting. I never thought about it that way. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I am a to-do list queen. Like, it is absolutely insane. I love my to-dos. I have my agenda, old school paper calendar, and I have another booklet just for my to-do list, for my task. And I have so much fun scratching through them, throughout the day as I pretty much, go through the task. So when he said that, I was just like, this is interesting. And I think this is our invitation, because it is going to be a challenge for me. I'm not going to lie. But I think, am I going to throw away my list? I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. But it was I think it's a beautiful invitation for all of us to put a little less emphasis on the to do. Yes, of course we need to still do the work. We're not being invited to be lazy here, but just maybe an invitation for us to stretch ourselves even more, as this is the last, it's the last stretch before, like, the home run. So it is an opportunity for us to stretch ourselves and to be more grounded. Because one thing about Pisces, right, is Pisces represent the spine. In Kabbalistic astrology, Pisces represent the spine and the feet. So pretty much Pisces is the foundation in a way, because once you have all the other 11 signs, and Pisces is pretty much it's pretty much the foundation, because it accumulates all the knowledge from all the other 11 signs, and it pretty much closes the cycle. So this is what that means, is that it is an opportunity. During Pisces, the focus should be about us being connected to joy, because there is the abundance of joy that is pretty much there to help us. It's there to help us tap into it, so we can overcome whichever challenges might be coming our way during Pisces season. At the same time, I don't want you to think, oh my God, here we go, Pisces is so depressing. No, I always hear that. But honestly, it's just because, again, Pisces has that duality, right? Like I said before, the two fishes, which represents pretty much this world, the physicality, and then also the unseen world. So this is why Pisces can often flip flop between like two extremes. So they are dealing with that. Whereas, I guess we could say that Gemini is a similar pattern with the twins, but like with Gemini it shows up differently, right? Because Gemini being run by Mercury, it would mostly be an internal conflict, like the constant dealing with the very fast stream of thoughts and intelligence and downloads coming their way all the time, dealing with that, but it's all internal. But in the case of Pisces, it's pretty much two different realms. It's the physicality versus the spirituality, and this is what it's the duality that comes with Pisces. But at the same time, Pisces can also be, which is great, Pisces. This is also why Pisces has so much empathy, because it's the accumulation of all 12 signs. Once you know all the 12 signs, once you know everything else and everyone else, it's easy for you to understand them. It's easy for you to feel compassion, because you've experienced those signs, because you know what those signs are about. So you have a bit of energy from all the other signs. However, what we can often see with Pisces is that Pisces tend to have a tendency to overgive, to self-sacrifice a little bit too much. But in this month, this is where we are all called to make sure to check with ourselves, make sure that we're not always self-sacrificing, because this is never a good thing. Yes, sharing is one of the most noble things that we can do, and then this is pretty much a main reason why we're here. However, there is also something as over giving, oversharing. So we need to be balanced. Everything in life needs to be balanced. So, and also in the month of Adar, which is the month of Pisces, we do have the holiday of Purim in Kabbalah. So the holiday of Purim is literally all about joy. I won't get into the history right now, because it will be like too long and too complex. But to keep it simple, the Purim holiday that is coming up pretty much next week, it's all about joy and the removal of doubts. Now, why this is so important? Because again, Pisces can have a tendency to have so much faith in everybody, really believe in other people, but often we can find that that is often at the expense of themselves. So again, this is the month where we are all encouraged to make sure that we're not self-abandoning, because we need to put a lot of energy into building that inner security, that inner foundation, which is again what Pisces is about. It is all about the spine, the feet. Pisces rule the feet, which is an invitation for us to make sure that the foundation is strong. So, to wrap things up, joy, there is extra joy that is available this month. Now, we don't need to be surprised. I literally just explained that, because with the Pisces energy, we do have extreme joy that is to help us counterbalance the duality between, the friction between this physicality and the spirituality that often encompasses the Pisces energy. That is why we always hear, oh, Pisces are so intuitive, Pisces are so mystical. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It is because of that connection between those two worlds that Pisces can often embody that, and mysticism and extra connection with the unseen. However, we need to remember that there is extra joy available to us through this month. So this is a month where now when we're talking about practicality, that's amazing, Stephanie. But what does that mean? So this is a month where we are all called to prioritize joy, to prioritize what makes you happy, to prioritize practices that make you happy. I know sometimes I get so carried away into bills, things that need to get done that I can really forget to have fun. But in the month of Pisces, we don't want to do that because we get extra support from the universe by doing our part, and then the universe meets us not even halfway. It meets us like seriously, we barely do like 1%, and then the light just meets us and do the other, like most of the work for us. So but we need to do our part, and the way we can do our part this month is by making sure we're connected to joy. If the challenges come, not if, when the challenges come, we need, part of the test is to go through it with happiness no matter what. Now you're like, oh my goodness, Stephanie, aren't you always talking about no fake positivity? Yeah, of course I talk about this all the time, but this is not the same thing. It's not the same thing, my love. What that means with the happiness that we need to connect in Pisces, it's that complete surrender in a higher power. It's this complete surrender that the light of the creator is there for you. I promise you, once you start, I've been practicing this lately, and you start moving differently. Of course, I'm human. I can't keep it up 24/7 every second. That would be the dream. But when you make an effort to think that way, whenever the challenges are coming your way, to pause and then to quickly take over the doubt, to remember that, oh, we're not here alone, and that there is the light that is always there for us, guiding us. And this is because this is for our greater good. Whichever challenge is coming is actually to help us grow, is to help us retrieve the light in the darkness. It's because again, that's why I always in my old outro I used to say, remember how you were diamond, because diamond is made under extreme pressure. Everything that is worth it, when you think about it, always requires some sort of like hardship, some sort of sacrifice, some sort of sweat and tears. That's just the way things are set up in this physical world, right? So it's no different. The challenges are there to help transform us, because in order to reveal light, we need to have darkness. This is how we reveal light. It's the same. I heard that example once. I don't remember where I heard it, but I think it was a teacher who made that example where if you go outside during, let's say, when the sun is at its highest, let's say 12 p.m., and then you light up your lighter. Well, your lighter is probably not even going to be noticeable because it's already bright outside, right? But then if you step into a dark room and then you light up your lighter, you know how much you're gonna like brighten the room just from your lighter. So in a way, it's the same thing. We need the contrast in order to reveal the light. If you're going through a hard time right now, just know that it's not gonna last forever. Try your best to find to hang on to the silver lining, because it doesn't last forever. Nothing, like no rain lasts forever. So, and also remember that after the rain, this is when we get the how do you call that thing, the rainbow. And I'm not trying to be cheesy today, but it's something that I even have on my phone, and I read it every morning when I wake up, to remember and not get lost in the darkness, because the challenges are there to help make us stronger. They're there to help us grow and to help us reveal a better, more outgrown version of ourselves. It's like a way for us to shed old skin and just step into like a more expensive version of us. So this month I encourage you to remember that, to choose joy. You could do that in actual tangible ways by prioritizing wellness, prioritizing things that make you happy. For example, me, I know that I'm totally obsessed with dancing in all the types of all of them. And there is also like, but lately I've realized that I was so consumed into like stressful things that I stopped dancing. So this month this is literally one of my priority, attending dance, creating the time to dance, step in my studio and make sure I'm dancing again. I'm connecting to that joy. And I did that. I started doing that last week, and oh my goodness, it brought me so much joy. I think as adult, we often belittle joy as thinking, oh, there's more serious things to do. I could be doing other things, cleaning the house, going to do laundry or running errands, adult stuff. But we don't understand how much joy is not something superficial. It is actually one of the most important thing. And that's also how we get the support of the light, because that's just the magic, that's just the superpower, of behind joy. It is actually a spiritual tool that we are all called to tap into during the month of Adar, during the month of Pisces. So also, let us all try to focus on becoming. What do we need to do to become, instead of focus, what do we need to do to become a happier, better version of ourselves, instead acting that way, instead of totally disconnecting with our inner self and just being only focused on the to-do list. And also, the second point is, when the challenges come, right? We need to remember that it is our chins. It is a great opportunity for us to clean up the last residue before we start the new cycle. It's literally your chins. It's a beautiful gift from the universe, so that you don't carry those patterns, that junk that needs to be thrown away, so you don't carry it into Aries, into the new cycle that is starting next month. So we need to see the challenges like this, and also know that if you make a little bit of effort, if you can find, that strength to make the little bit of effort, not letting yourself be consumed by any challenges that show up your way, but to choose joy, knowing that you are taken care of, knowing that the light is there with you, knowing that you're not going through life by yourself, and surrendering to the higher power during the month, it will pay back. You just need to trust that, and that it will really support you and manifests a lot of amazing things, because Pisces again is ruled by Jupiter, which is a great manifester of blessings and joy. And remember, it is our chance to clean the slate before the new start, before the month, at the month of Aries. And we do have all of the support in the cosmos that is supporting us for that. So in this month of Pisces, my love, let's all remember to prioritize joy, togetherness, sharing beyond our nature, okay? Because we are supposed to operate as a unit. I know us humans, we tend to be very self-centered, but let us all make an effort during Pisces to be together, to do, I don't know, reach out to someone that you haven't reached out in a long time, or try to see how you can bring some joy and happiness into other people's life also. And because by also bringing joy and happiness and sharing your joy and happiness with other people, you are actually setting yourself up to receive more blessings, because you become a channel, and the blessing has to come through you first, and then while you're sharing, you actually become a conduit, and you receive all the blessings so that you can share more. On that note, my loves, I hope this session today was very helpful to you. And I just realized, oh my God, I never say happy birthday to any of I keep coming up here and doing energy of the month, but I never say happy birthday. So happy birthday to my Pisces. And Yes, I happy birthday. Just don't let anyone tell you anything negative that you depressing. Why are you so sensitive? If you haven't yet, definitely check into my water message for my water signs that I recorded, I think last week. On that note, let us all remember that we're all Pisces this month, and there is great deal of energy available to all of us in the cosmos. Let us all prioritize joy, joy for the pure, just pure joy, for no reason, and also as a tool to help us get through any challenges that might come our way. On that note, my loves, I will see you in the next one. Don't forget that you are a diamond and keep shining bright like one. See you later. Bye.